Coming up on Retiring Well with Michael Reese.
It is not surprising if you have your money in a variable annuity to be paying about 3% a year or more. How are you supposed to make money when you're paying those kinds of fees? So folks, if you have a variable annuity, pick up the phone, give us a call. The IRS says you can only do one rollover every 12 months. How many transfers can you do every 12 months, does the IRS say? You know what they say? Unlimited. Do 100,000 of them, do a million of them. They don't care. You can do an unlimited number of transfers between institutions with your IRAs.
Now, the host of Retiring Well, Michael Reese.
Welcome to the show today. We have 30 minutes of action-packed information specifically designed for you. Retiring Well starts right here, right now.
Retiring Well with Michael Reese, helping you make smart decisions with your money so you can live a better life. Today is the day you can take back control of your money. Retiring Well with Michael Reese, where we believe your best is yet to come.
This week on CFP Talk, we are discussing variable annuities and the fees that come along with variable annuities. Now, in our industry, this is kind of my pet peeve. It drives me crazy how it seems like the financial industry, which, I mean, I love what we do. I love the financial industry. I think we can do so much good for so many people. Yet it drives me crazy how hard the industry seems to work at hiding what they're charging you. I mean, why can't we be transparent? It just boggles my mind. So what I want to do today is talk a little bit about variable annuities and the fees that are embedded in a variable annuity contract that you typically do not see. Now, remember here, I'm talking specifically about variable annuities. Fixed annuities typically do not have anything close to these fees, and oftentimes they have no fees. But variable annuities, on the other hand, do. And if you ever read about how annuities are really expensive, if they, you read or you hear about how, wow, annuities, they just cost so much money. This is what they're talking about, the variable annuity grouping of the annuity universe. So let's dig in and see what's going on here. Whenever you have a variable annuity, in essence, what's going on is you are owning a mutual fund portfolio held at an insurance company. So here you've got this mutual fund, a list of mutual funds that you've put your money into, and it's held at an insurance company. It's called a variable annuity. So let's see what kinds of expenses you should expect to pay. First, we have mutual fund fees. Now, if you've watched a show in the past, you know mutual fund fees could be anywhere from 1% to 3%. But let's do this. Let's give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Let's imagine that the fees are cheaper at these variable annuity companies. So let's give them a 1% fee. That's the lower end of the spectrum. The next thing that happens, though, is the insurance companies say, well, wait a minute, we got to make money here, too. We got to charge you something called mortality and expense. Now, what are they charging you for? One of the benefits with putting your money in a mutual fund portfolio at an insurance company inside this variable annuity framework is, let's say you deposit $100,000 and the markets go down to 80. So you go from 100 down to 80,000 and then you die. Well, your beneficiary receives the 100,000 you put in. Whoever gets your money when you die, they get either the amount you deposited or the current value, whichever is the higher number. So there might be, if markets go down, a little bit of, you could almost call it life insurance in these types of accounts. So insurance companies charge. What do they charge? Typically anywhere from 1.25%. And sometimes it's much as 1.65, 1.75. Again, let's assume the low side. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll make it 1.25. Then you have riders. In today's world, almost every variable annuity out there that you would put your money into has riders. Now, what are riders? There might be special death benefit riders. Hey, you die, your beneficiaries get even more money. There might be what are called living benefit riders. These are the most popular. What a living benefit rider does is it says it allows you to take a certain amount of income off of your account for as long as you live. But are these insurance companies going to offer this stuff for free? No, they're making money here. And I got to tell you, this is an area where, it's pretty profitable. So typically these riders, they could be anywhere from 0.5% up to 1.5% a year. There's quite a range. So let's do some math. Let's add up all the fees you're paying. And remember, we're trying to, focus on the low side of these fees. Even on the low side, 1.25%, 0.5%. That's 2.75% a year up to 3.75% if my math is correct here. Yeah, and it is. It is not surprising if you have your money in a variable annuity to be paying about 3% a year or more. How are you supposed to make money when you're paying those kinds of fees? So folks, if you have a variable annuity, pick up the phone, give us a call. We'd love to share with you what are the fees that you're actually paying and what kinds of alternatives do you have instead.
Since 2000, we have seen the market drop to half its value a couple of times. We are now in the second largest bull run of all time. Is the bear poised to strike again? Many are speculating that it is, but we are not going to take that position. The truth is, no one can predict when because they always come unexpected. The key is being positioned to handle it no matter what happens.
By objective, a mutual fund will hold the securities it said that they would hold in the prospectus. For example, a large cap mutual fund is going to hold large company stocks. If the market crashes like it did in 2008, then what does that large cap mutual fund do? Think about it. Will they go to cash?
You will be hard-pressed to find a large cap mutual fund that did not go right down with the market. Don't be caught being passively invested like that. What you want is active management. You want someone managing the downside as well as the upside. Also, don't get caught in the buy and hold trap. You have to remember that in 2008, when the market crashed, it started in December of 2007 and ended in March of 2009. Think about it. That was a 15-month period. Every month, people were getting their statements and they would ask their advisor what they should do.
And what was the mantra? Just hold. It always comes back. Sure it did, almost 4 years after it hit its bottom. We think that is unacceptable. It is also critical to understand what you are paying in fees. It continues to amaze us how little people understand what they are paying.
There are only two ways to grow a portfolio. One is by the interest and dividends being earned by the underlying securities, or what we call yield. And two, by appreciation, the idea that a security will grow in value. If I'm trying to grow to get a 6 or 7% return, and I'm only getting 2% in yield, and I'm paying fees of more than that, then my whole portfolio is relying on speculation. That's where you get volatility. We have all been taught you can't have great reward without taking great risk. It is not true. You can achieve market-like returns without volatility.
We have the tools today to show you how much risk you are taking. We have the tools today to show you how much you are paying in fees. Don't you think you have the right to know? To the first 10 callers, we will perform a risk and fee analysis for you absolutely free. If you had a life-threatening illness and the doctor was prescribing a critical procedure, well, wouldn't you find it appropriate to get a second opinion? You have saved retirement your whole life. Don't you think your life savings deserves a second opinion as well? Again, for the first 10 callers, we will do the risk and fee analysis and we'll show you how to avoid being just passively invested. Give us a call.
Welcome back to another edition of True or False with Mike. Mike, are you ready for this week's questions?
Craig, I am armed and ready. Fire away.
You're always ready. Investing before retirement is very similar to investing after retirement. True or false?
True or false? Investing after is very similar to investing before? Okay, that one I've got to say is a false, because as you know, when you're investing before retirement, you are adding money to the pot. So it's kind of like you're on a sailboat out on the lake or out on the ocean or somewhere, and you've got the winds behind you. So when you add money to a portfolio, it's like the wind's behind you. Everything's going your way. Even if there are some waves out there or market conditions aren't good, you still have the wind behind you. So adding money, it makes it all easier. Everything is simpler, and all you're trying to do is grow. However, the instant you retire, suddenly the wind changes, right? It's like the wind changed, because now instead of adding money to the portfolio, what are we doing? We're typically taking money out. So instead of putting money in, we're pulling money out. Suddenly it's like the wind's in our face, right? The wind's in our face, and now we're like, oh my gosh, we still want to get from point A to B, but we can't just do it in a straight line. Now we've got to kind of go this way and that way and the other way. And the reality is this. I mean, folks, think about this. Think about this. When you're working before retirement, what are you trying to do? You're just trying to grow the portfolio. You're just trying to make it bigger, right? But what happens when you retire? When you retire, you're going to want to change. Your goals change. It's like my dad. When my dad retired, he came to me. He said, hey, Mike, look, here's my 401k. Here's what I want you to do. Protect my principal. Give me some income. And if you can, grow it a little bit. Well, guess what, folks? If you want to protect your principal, take some income, and maybe even still grow it a little bit, that requires a lot of different strategies. It's not the same thing as just saying, all right, let's add some money to this account and let's try to make it grow. Very different scenarios, very different strategies are required, and very different types of investments are used. Biggest problem people make in retirement, they don't make that shift. Right? They just keep doing what they've been doing. They don't make that shift, and it can get them into trouble.
Right, it's a quantum shift. It's a change in life and a change in style.
Yeah, it's not the same thing.
All right, next, true or false? Your IRA will not likely create a big tax problem for you later on when you retire.
Will not likely or will likely?
Question is, will not likely.
Will not likely. Okay, got to make sure I heard that properly. So if the question was, your IRA will likely cause a problem down the road, then that would be true. But you said not likely was the question. He's trying to trick me up, people. Do you see what's going on here? He's trying to trip me up. If the way it's worded, then that's false. Basically, what we're trying to say here is, or the way the question's worded, very sneaky, Craig. IRAs, it's all money. And by the way, when we talk about IRAs, we're really talking about what? IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, all those qualified retirement plans. It's all a bunch of money and it's never been taxed. It's never been taxed. And so what happens is when you hit retirement and you start pulling it out, now here come all the taxes. And this is, man, as you're watching at home, this is the worst part about it. It's not just taxes on the money you pull out of those accounts, right? Because not only do you pay tax on the distribution, a lot of times you end up paying more tax on your Social Security income.
Medicare too.
As a result, right? Medicare premiums go up sometimes, or like the prescription drug, right? The Part D.
Pretty much any government entitlement is going to be.
It's either taxed at a higher rate or they charge you more, right? It's means testing. So the problem is you're pulling the money later on out of these accounts. Oh my goodness, more tax on what you pull out, more tax on Social Security, all these government entitlement programs you're paying more for. Oh my, it can be a real problem. And oh my goodness, for a surviving spouse, you think taxes are bad while you're both married? Just wait until one of you dies. It gets even worse. So yeah, IRAs, 401ks, they cause big problems with taxes later on.
All right, well, thank you, Mike. That's it for this week. If you've got any questions about these topics or any topic, always feel free to give us a call and we'll help you figure it out.
Will your retirement vision be your retirement reality? Centennial Wealth Advisory invites you to an eye-opening and exciting event packed with up-to-date, valuable, and important information. Join us for a free presentation with complimentary gourmet dinner and find out what you're missing on these vital topics. What is the suitability versus fiduciary standard of care in the financial services industry? What are the biggest tax traps? What are the hidden costs in mutual funds? Why is getting a second opinion the most important financial decision of your life? And much more. Choose the date and location that works best for you. Wednesday, June 7th at Boone's Long Lake Inn in Traverse City. Tuesday, June 20th at the Otsego Club in Gaylord. Or Tuesday, June 27th at the Inn at Bay Harbor in Petoskey. Presentations start at 6 p.m. and are free to attend with a complimentary gourmet dinner to follow. But seating is limited and fills quickly. Call 888-608-5825 or visit sen-wealth.com to reserve your seats today. There is no cost and no obligation. Don't miss this important presentation, making your retirement vision a reality. Call 888-608-5825 today.
This week in IRA Focus, we want to talk about how do you avoid making mistakes when you're doing a 60-day rollover. So what in the world am I talking about? You may be sitting there, you may be thinking, 60-day rollover? What the heck is that? Well, a 60-day rollover is simply this. Let's say you have an IRA out there and you want to move that IRA from institution A and move it over here to institution B. You can do it's called a rollover. And the rollover rules are you withdraw the money, you get a check from institution 1, or A, I guess we said, and then you have 60 days to bring it over and deposit it at institution B. That's a 60-day rollover. Now, where do we get in trouble here? Well, obviously, you can get in trouble if you don't get it there within 60 days. And there are all kinds of crazy rules that can happen. I mean, if you don't get it there in 60 days, crazy stuff starts happening, your IRA is cashed in, it's ugly. We see this happen in two situations. So number one, we often see it with 401ks, where you have a 401k, you want to move your 401k to an IRA, so you do a rollover. And you get a check, you've got 60 days to put to the new IRA. What if you're on vacation? What if you get the check and then you go on vacation, you kind of forget about it and the check just sits on your desk for a while? I know it seems strange. It happens. When's the other time we see this problem? The second time is, let's say you have an IRA at a bank, like in a CD, and you're saying, okay, I've got this IRA at Bank A, and you know the new CD rates are crummy. I want to move over here to Bank B. So you do a 60-day rollover. Bank A gives you a check. Bank B, and you bring it over to Bank B. Now, let me share with you the number one big-time problem, what you have to watch out for here, and it's simply this. The IRS has ruled that you can only do one rollover, one of those 60-day rollovers, in any 12-month period. So what if you have 3 different IRAs? What do? You want to roll over all 3 in 1 year? You can't do it. You can't do it. You can only do one. So how do you fix that problem? So, by the way, I want to bring something to your attention. What I have right here, this is a book called Everything You Need to Know About an IRA, Your IRA in 5 Easy Steps. This is a book that we've put together. It is a resource of a number of articles from Ed Slott, one of the country's biggest IRA experts. We've put it together for you. If you happen to call us, you come in and visit with us, we'll give you a copy of this for free. But anyway, they have a section here. One of the chapters right here on page 11 says, Avoiding 60-day rollover mistakes. It gives you 5 steps. How do you avoid these things? I'm going to give you one of those steps. Here is the easiest thing in the world to do. Here's what it is. Don't do a rollover. Do a transfer. So what am I talking about? So a rollover means you get the money. You get the money. You go to the bank, you go to your institution, you say, send me the check, I'll take the check. And the check is written in your name. And then you physically bring that check to the next institution. That's a rollover. Well, don't do that. Instead, do a transfer. What is a transfer? You just send a form to institution A. Let's say it's Fidelity. Send a form to Fidelity, say, hey, Fidelity, move my money directly over to, I don't know, Vanguard. I don't want to touch the money. You just go straight from Fidelity, just send the money straight over there to Vanguard. Don't even include me in the mix. Just send it over there. Here's my account number at Vanguard. Send it directly for me. These big institutions do that all the time. They're constantly sending money back and forth. Here's the cool thing. The IRS says you can only do one rollover every 12 months. How many transfers can you do every 12 months, does the IRS say? You know what they say? Unlimited. Do 100,000 of them, do 1 million of them. They don't care. You can do an unlimited number of transfers between institutions with your IRAs. So you want to avoid a 60-day rollover trap? Don't do the rollover, do a transfer instead. Now there are other things that this book will tell you can do, but there you go. That's a simple solution right there. Now remember, if you have any questions about this or anything else we talk about on the show, please feel free, pick up the phone, give us a call. We will help you out.
Will your retirement vision be your retirement reality? Centennial Wealth Advisory invites you to an eye-opening and exciting event packed with up-to-date, valuable, and important information. Join us for a free presentation with complimentary gourmet dinner and find out what you're missing on these vital topics. What is the suitability versus fiduciary standard of care in the financial services industry? What are the biggest tax traps? What are the hidden costs in mutual funds? Why is getting a second opinion the most important financial decision of your life? And much more. Choose the date and location that works best for you. Wednesday, June 7th at Boone's Long Lake Inn in Traverse City. Tuesday, June 20th at the Otsego Club in Gaylord. Or Tuesday, June 27th at the Inn at Bay Harbor in Petoskey. Presentations start at 6 p.m. and are free to attend with a complimentary gourmet dinner to follow. But seating is limited and fills quickly. Call 888-608-5825 or visit sen-wealth.com to reserve your seats today. There is no cost and no obligation. Don't miss this important presentation, making your retirement vision a reality. Call 888-608-5825 today.
Welcome to Coffee Talk. My name's John Torbett, and I'm here with my colleagues Larry Flynn and Art Canfield. And we get a number of common questions as we're in meetings throughout the week, and so we thought we'd just open those up and share a few with you.
John, here's one we'll hear occasionally.
Sure.
I keep hearing the term in-service rollover in regards to my 401k. What does that mean?
Sure. So in service, basically saying, okay, you're still working for your employer, but you have a 401k plan. So this in-service rollover idea is the fact that your 401k, you actually have the ability to roll that over to your own traditional IRA and ultimately start planning for retirement within that IRA, because the 401k, one of the big disadvantages that people find is that within the 401k, your options or your investment options are typically pretty limited. So people like to sort of have control over their retirement planning, and so within that IRA, now it opens it up to multiple investment options for them.
Isn't it funny how many times clients come in and they have their 401k and they don't know that they can do that.
Right.
They can actually roll it out into their own IRA account.
Yeah.
It always amazes me how people don't have any idea what's even in their 401k, and they've just been saving for all these years, and they're just kind of blind to what's even in there. What's it about? Often, I think, when we're talking with these in-service rollers, we're encouraging them to talk to their employers, look at their summary plan descriptions to see what options are even available for them if they can do that.
Yeah, and it seems like there's a trend going on right now where a lot of the employers almost don't want that liability of having the 401k anymore, so they're sort of opening it up for this in-service rollover where, hey, you're still working, but if you want to leave the 401k plan, feel free, because we don't want to be liable if like another 2008 occurs and you lose a lot of your money. We want you to be ultimately responsible for that.
It's kind of important to note that, because this is a lot of times what the clients will think, but just because they roll out into their own IRA, it doesn't mean that they can't still participate in the 401k, right?
Right. Still, usually if you're still working, you would want to keep participating. You don't want to give up that ability, especially if there's matching.
Right, exactly. Well, good.
Well, one of the other questions, guys, it seems like we get all the time is, hey, I'm retiring at the end of this year, and I'm fortunate enough to have Roth IRA money and traditional IRA money. Should I draw from my Roth IRA first so I don't have to pay any taxes?
Oh man, guys, as soon as I hear that question, I think of that person that came in. They had asked their advisor 10, 15 years ago, right, which account I should pull from, and the advisor said, well, pull from your Roth account because you're not going to have to pay any taxes. And then for the next 10, 15 years, while they were in the low tax bracket, they could have been pulling out of their IRA. So here they're dwindling down their Roth IRA account while their IRA account was growing. I mean, just terrible advice, terrible advice.
Right. It's really something, ultimately, we recommend each year you got to look at your tax situation and sort of see where's that income going to fall. Can you take advantage of the existing tax code to basically either draw from traditional IRA, or if maybe you need to draw a little bit from the Roth IRA, but it doesn't seem to make sense to pull it all and pay no taxes when you could have pulled potentially from a taxable IRA and paid little to no taxes.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
It just seems from like a mindset perspective, people are so excited they've been paying taxes all these years, and they get into retirement and they see this tax-free account. Hey, I don't want to pay taxes anymore.
Right.
But they have to, like you said, John, they got to look at this every year because it may or may not make sense.
Right.
Yeah, there's a real sweet spot we find is when clients stop working and before they take Social Security, right? If there's a few years there that they're in that low bracket and they don't have that Social Security income and that's a great time to maybe be taking more out of the IRAs, right? Or possibly converting it to a Roth.
Mm-hmm. Well, good. Well, we appreciate you tuning in, and thanks for joining us for Coffee Talk. We look forward to talking with you a little bit more on the next episode.
Thanks everyone for watching the show today. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to call our office or visit our website. And remember, you only retire once, so let's get it right the first time. We'll see you next week.